Welcome back, guys. We're here. Here's the cards for semifinal number 2. Gonna see Hosty versus Faramir. Now we do have their decks. We do have their bans. Want to guess the bans? Been pretty good on this stuff.
I think Warlock would be banned on each side. That's my guess.
You nailed it. Yeah.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Well, the rest of the decks, I believe, are exact in this case as well, but they're not the same as the last round. So both players have Warrior, both players don't have Warlock because it's banned, both players have Druid, and rather than both players having Mage as their third, both players in this case have Paladin. Now, I know that the I don't know what we're going to call those Paladin decks, but these Paladin decks, I don't know if all of them run the double Blood Knight stuff, like Hosty was. And I think if Hosty is running double Blood Knight and Faramir is not running any or one, I think Hosty's advantage is going to be considerable. And
yeah, I understand what you mean. Like it just gives an intrinsic value to like one person to capitalize on both person's board while one person doesn't. Yeah. So I think it's like also like another way to impact it when you don't have consecration. There's like a lot of things like Annoyatrons, and if he has Archer Protectors and whatnot. I think it definitely leans towards Hosty here in the overall edge of who's going to be able to have the advantage. But I'm definitely still going to try and back up my claim. I think Faramir still has a big chance of taking this series.
All right, let's see how it'll play out. It did open up Warrior versus Paladin though, and that's a pretty damn good Paladin hand. But it is also a pretty good Warrior hand. You have the Armor Smith, you have the Cruel Task, you have the Acolyte. It's a pretty big deal here. And I think what we're going to see is a Cruel Task on the Juggler after the attack to kill it.
Right. Are we on? And Hosty is the Warrior player? Or is he the Paladin player?
That's a good question. I don't think we have the Hosty overlays up yet.
I think Faramir is the Paladin player based off the way the overlay is set. And also he has Bolvar in his deck. I thought that card was considered trash tier, Crip.
It is pretty trash tier, but sometimes it's pretty good tempo play. Like if you can clear the board, if you can do like a Wild Pyro, Equality, and then Bolvar with 9 mana. It can like, just completely change the game. So it's got its moments. You really need a certain type of deck to float that card, though. I don't think it's standard in any kind of Paladin deck right now.
All right. Well, does Hosty have a way to deal with all these 1/1s? I think in the back of mind he's worried about Quartermaster. Is it time for Bolvar though? What's its stats currently? 4/7.
I can't really see.
5/7, so it was 4/7. Well, Bolvar, meet Owl. Owl, Bolvar.
This is the Bolvar dream.
Well, not necessarily, because you didn't get to get the big lion's roar. Because at least the coolest thing about playing Bolvar is for sure his entrance. Ah, well he's going to save the Owl because I guess he really values it against Tyrion. Makes sense.
Well, here the Paladin just tries to be really annoying with the dudes and all that, and it's going to work. I like saving the last charge of the weapon. I don't know if he's going to. Yeah. Actually, depending on the number of weapons in the deck, I think saving 2 charges is also pretty decent.
Oh, an auto barber.
Whoa.
I mean, it's a 3/2. Too bad you can't get his battle cry effect.
I think here I like the Sylvanas drop. Or is he going to go for a juggle right away? Okay, this is a very aggressive play. He needs the juggle here.
Missed the first one. Yeah, he got the second one. Pretty clutch.
Now there's still a 1/2 on the board, but not much else. And even though the Paladin board is not really the best here, It is pretty important just to have more creatures than the warrior. That puts the warrior in a spot where he's always behind on the board, even though the warrior may have bigger creatures and the paladin's all 1/1s. It becomes a situation where inevitably the paladin draws into some kind of equality combo and catches up.
No! Oh,
Brutal! Oh man,
wow.
that's the last juggle of that guy. Oh man.
Wow. You throw me a knife, I throw you a bomb. The Hosty is taking a lot of damage too. He needs to stabilize. He picked up this Ironbeak Owl.
I don't know if it's worth it, man.
You think you just gotta
Give
it up and get in?
Yep.
Alright.
I mean, if you look at Faramir's hand here, what does he have?
Got a quality concentration.
He's got a 2-card kill on Geddon. And if he doesn't use that, like all of his deck dies to it. Including that poor Zombie Chow. Would you even play Zombie Chow here? Yeah, exactly. Equality Consecrate on a Geddon. Oh my, that is value.
Yeah, I guess you're feeling really good about that one if you're Hosty. And that's really telling of his hand too.
Yep.
I have no time for games.
So you have nothing. Great.
And the Zombie Chow is a pretty good thing too, because it bounces the warrior's health to a pretty reasonable number.
Now we're gonna see Consecrate.
Not even that great of a card in this matchup usually.
Now, when you look at the state of the board, just because the Paladin has all those annoying things, he's technically in good shape. But that Harrison is bound to draw some kind of easy answer to this.
Yeah, I'm definitely sensing Hosty running away here.
Yeah. Oh my.
Wow.
Belchered up.
Sludge Belcher. Is it basically
The Belcher eats up 7 dudes, man. 7 dudes.
Big appetite.
Yeah. Even Quartermaster wasn't enough there. Quartermaster's like basically enough to deal with the board. The Warriors got 7 cards behind.
Man, he's got Deathspite too. You can pop the Deathspite this turn.
I like popping the Deathspite. I like playing Deathspite and then on top of it Fiery War Axe here and just killing off the 2/2.
Yeah. Well, I think you can use the first charge of Deathspite before that. So you can save the 2 charges of Fiery War Axe. I guess it doesn't play around Harrison, but he doesn't have any cards in hand.
Yeah.
Aww.
No sweet plays today.
Yeah. I mean, he knew there was a possibility, too, of what he wanted.
Oh, man. Quartermaster. I want to see it. I want to see the punish.
Even if he does get it.
Oh.
Tyrion. Okay, I guess we'll just have to settle for the best legendary at his disposal, so.
You're the best. I think Ragnar's the best.
In his deck?
Yeah. I think we saw Ragnar in one of the Paleo decks, didn't we?
I don't remember. But either way,
it doesn't really matter.
I believe he's dead because he just has silence.
Yeah.
Or I guess there's a lot of ways to kill him. I guess he's gonna keep the owl.
Keep the owl
under wraps. That's actually really smart.
I think he owled in a previous match, didn't he?
Sure, but you never know.
Oh no, he couldn't have. Hosty's playing a warrior. He's never played warrior. So the owl tech being secret is actually very significant.
No, you're right. Even so, just keeping it secret, because then it'd be like the onus on Faramir to do the research and to know. So hide it as best as you can.
Well, Faramir drops Paladin. I did think that was one of the weaker matchups, and not seeing Blood Knight or too many Divine Shields, I think that was going to be the case regardless. And now he's got Druid or Warrior at his disposal to try to deal with Hosty's Warrior. I mean, Druid's in there, so be surprised if he takes the mirror. But again, I think it's going to be a very similar case to the last matchup. It's going to be, he plays Druid, and then Hosty plays this hyper aggressive Pally with a bunch of Divine Shields and taunts, and then yeah, what does the Warrior do?
I was very surprised to see Warrior drop the Paladin that quickly. I'm pretty sure Faramir intended to be opposite. I think he was happy with Paladin versus Warrior for the most part.
Oh, he was. It's just that Hosty's opening hand on the Warrior was just insane. Like, he had all the early game creatures. He didn't have a Fiery War Axe, but it was in a stage where he didn't need it. So, what does that matter?
True.
If you don't need Fiery War Axe in your opener on Warrior, you have nothing to complain about.
Makes sense. Well, that's going to do it for game number 1, guys. And when we come back, we'll see if Faramir can take this Druid and make a comeback against Hosty's Warrior. We'll find out in just a sec.
Alright, guys, we're back. I'm going to see Faramir's response to Hosty's first win here. Really expecting to see Druid, but my memory's not so good, and for me to cast these, I have to stay up a little bit more. And when I'm sleepy, I don't remember much, so I'm not too sure if there was much spice involved in the Druid deck. But as far as I remember, there wasn't much spice in any Druid decks that we saw yesterday. You remember much about that?
No, not really. There's just a pile of shredders as really sticky minions, maybe a sky golem or two. But other than that, pretty run-of-the-mill stuff. Druid is really consistent. They've thrown in Dr. Boom because he's a great legendary, but as far as my memory goes, pretty much what we've come to expect. It's just, the reality is, Crib, a lot of these pros are scared to bring really wonky stuff because the safer, more conservative approach in just bringing a deck that's pretty consistent is much easier. And you know how all the plays line up. You know what mulligans you want. You know the matchup that you like. If you bring something really wacky like a Demon Lock, what's it even good against? What's it bad against? You don't know for sure. Well, unless you do, and you're just being humble.
I think there's so many variations of Demon Lock that it's I don't even know anything. I haven't actually seen that great of a Demon Lock yet. What does it look like in your opinion?
Not to mention about the lack of refinement. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when the expansion comes around, it's like, so you want to void call out Mal'Ganis, do you? All right, let's make a deck around that.
Yeah, and then you want to use Demon Heart on Mistress of Pain. Cool. It's like that. Those are like the weird combos you see. But the reality is the meta will slowly shift. Like everyone will be introducing like one deck at a time that they're trying to do something a little bit different, and slowly over the course of like 2 months or 3 months, you'll see like decks change maybe 10 cards in total, which then it has a drastic identity shift. Paladin's already going through that at the moment, where like people are already changing enough where Paladin looks pretty different. Even Mage, you know, that's another deck, but we're still in a slow transition for decks like Warrior, for Druid. We still have yet to see Ramp Druid make a full comeback, but I think Ramp Druid's actually very strong at the moment. No one really knows how to build it efficiently.
Well, alright, we do have the Druid against the Warrior. No surprise there. We do have a pretty damn nice opener from the Druid as well. It's the turn 1 Wild Growth into the turn 2 Innervate Spectral Knight. And man, that guy's going to clock in some damage.
Yeah, pretty much the Yeti effect, just a little bit later, and you can't easily remove it with Execute. Wow, another Wild Growth.
Doesn't really matter. You go from 4 directly to 6. It's still nothing. Yeah. You gotta draw some kind of card in your next 2 turns to play.
True.
Again, more ramp. If that Ancient of Lore doesn't deliver, I think you might be in trouble. Might not have enough cards.
True.
Like I guess going second and drawing 3 ramp is okay. But going first and drawing 3 ramps is often just a dead hand.
Is it too slow for Faramir to have waited turn 1, Wild Growth turn 2, and then coin out the Spectrum Knight and then innervate out the Ancient of Lore? That was also a possibility. He would have had 1 turn slow on everything else.
Wow, combo in hand though, Yeti, swipe, things are looking really good. Wow.
Well, 2 Yetis.
Yeah, I don't know if you beat this hand as a warrior.
What if? Oh, I don't know. He needs to find a way to stabilize, and I don't know if he can that easily. The only way to remove both these minions is through Brawl at the moment, and like playing anything else might be too slow.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Does the Armor Smith theory hold true? It does not.
No. Nope. Turns out Kickaxe doesn't know what he's talking about.
Here it's just too late for the warrior to do anything, I believe.
Yeah.
Because
even if the Armor Smith won, right?
Yeah. I mean, like even now, even if somehow the warrior gets removal here, I don't know how it's gonna happen. Let's just say it does. It's just not good enough. Shield block into shield block. That's still not good enough. Nope.
Yeah, still combo kill.
Yep.
That's pretty wild, but that just shows to you how hard this matchup can be. So, well, that was a quick game number 2. Very quick. In under just a few minutes.
Yeah.
Well, then where does Hosty go from here? He has his own Druid and his own Paladin.
I think Paladin does very well. Especially his, like he is running Annoyatrons and stuff. And like those can be really annoying when you're trying to finish off your opponent.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I just feel like the Paladin has like sustain, it has the big creatures that the Druid can't deal with. And it has the clears if it needs to. Like you have like the counter ramp, you know? But you have the Wild Growth and the innervate out a Spectral Knight, and then bam, Peacekeeper. That's a nice 1/6. So that pressure is just gone.
That's true. It's got a lot of versatile tools to deal with it. And that's assuming it's playing the slower one version though, right? Because I think Hosty's playing a very quick version.
You don't think Peacekeeper's in the deck? I think Peacekeeper is so strong that you just put it in everything.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's really the Kodos that are in phase out mode.
Yeah, Kodos have been slowed down significantly. You rely on, Quartermaster replaced Kodo essentially at the mana slot. And you have a lot of other ways to ramp up early on with Muster for Battle, Blood Knight. There's like a lot of ways you can command the board. Well, that game was pretty quick. I'm not sure if we're going to a break though, Crip, are we?
No, we're gonna go right into the next one.
Okay. So we're gonna find out what Hosty chooses. I think the Druid mirror is pretty unreliable still. Like,
Yeah,
I know a lot of people
it's
consider it
very
to be the
close
least.
to a coin flip. Like the opening hand
Yeah.
is basically everything in that.
It's like so it's so mapped out that a lot of things have I guess because people always say Druid's a class that includes the least RNG, I suppose. But when the matchup's that mapped out and the decision tree has been thinned out so much based off optimization, it really does become whoever is able to get the tempo early on.
Yeah. Well, it is Paladin. And well, let's try to analyze this deck as we see it played. Defender of Argus is a little bit of a strange one, but that does have a lot of combos now with Muster for Battle and all the rest.
Sure.
Wow, that hand sucks. Okay, I think the Druid's got a pretty good chance.
Well, Druid's hand's not exactly that stellar either.
Yeah. Oh my, that is like the worst thing you could possibly have.
Yeah. I mean, it's the drawback of having Blood Knight. Sometimes it just doesn't do anything. And the reality is, it's a blowout card, right? Oh gosh.
I think you dude. There's the dude. Look at him. He's the first creature to hit the board.
Usually is for Paladin.
Not in this one. I think there's a lot of 1-drops. A lot of 2-drops
Right.
too. We just don't see them because his hand's pretty terrible.
Yeah. You're not in this deck.
Now the funny thing is, this thing might even get equality. Like if Hosty had equality, I don't think you have to think too hard about that. Oh, but there it is. Look at that.
Oh, whoa!
There's that 1/6.
Oh,
He doesn't even want to hit. He doesn't even want to go to the hand, man. He knows where he has to go. Peacekeepers are very responsible creatures.
he was played so fast that he doesn't even know how to process the order.
Yep. So there goes that innervate tempo play. It basically downs a dude and takes out a battle cry of a 3-drop.
Does 1 damage
Yep.
to another Peacekeeper as well. Well, Druid still looks like it has a pretty situational hand. Keep of the Grove's not much better.
The thing is, like, Paladin's hand's also terrible because the one thing you really need to do here is play Muster for Battle, and you can't because you have a True Silver and nothing to hit.
Right. I mean, I guess at least you have a 3/3,
Yeah.
which can be problematic, but still, you can deal with it too. As the Druid, just snipe it down with the Moonfire.
That is pretty risky, though. I mean, we saw Hosty reveal Tyrion.
It's true. Actually, that's a really good point. Because you know True Silver is gonna... I guess you want True Silver to be used on this too, right? As opposed to like your Lotheb.
Yeah, you do. It's just that, like, if you're really tuned into the game, you know, that 3 cards from the opening hand are still there.
Right.
So, the bad things are happening right now. Oh, you don't muster first. You attack first.
Oh. Thinking about how to sequence everything, but yeah. I think even Dr. Boom is better than Muster for Battle.
Okay. Yeah, you're right, it is. But if you get a muster, you do it with Argus. That's pretty good as well.
True.
This is very defensive.
You can Argus the Boombox next turn. Pretty nasty.
Man, that's a lot of combo stuff. And no
He's
mustering
got-
next turn.
Yep.
Gonna ramp into it. That's looking pretty scary. At turn 7, Wild Growth.
Dude, what if he hits the Shade twice?
Nope.
Oh,
That
man.
was a 4 hit though. That was almost there.
That was wild. Almost. How much damage the combo for next turn? If he takes this, I think Hosty's calculating it. 22 damage.
I have no time for games.
Okay. Well, I guess it's
Wow.
pretty good. That's pretty good still.
Yeah, not bad.
Okay, now there's no card that lethals here, I don't think. But it's pretty decent though. More and more damage.
Yep.
What?
So, oh, okay. I guess he was afraid of potentially letting Sylvanas steal it for full, but if he has Consecration, he's just dead. Oh, he is dead. He has a weapon to get through, and he also has an Iron Beak Owl. Wow. Okay.
Well, that shade play is pretty questionable, man.
Yeah.
Like, here you go. Here's lethal.
I think Faramir does this once per series.
Oh, okay.
He says, "You know what? I'm so good that I think it's just unfair if I let my opponent let my opponent lethal me, he'll have a chance."
He's gonna have to be so good that he's gonna have to beat Hosty's currently undefeated 4-0 Paladin deck. And what does he have?
He's got Warrior. And he's got Warrior
no, just
left,
one.
I think. Yep.
Yeah. Well, good luck, Faramir. We're gonna take a small break, and we're gonna see if the hero here. But I kind of doubt it. I'm gonna be the downer here. I don't think it's happening.
All right, we'll find out in a couple of seconds here, guys. Stay tuned. We'll come back. We'll have Game 4 of Hosty versus Faramir.
Guys, welcome back. We're about to see here possibly Faramir's last game in this second semifinal. We are leading into the grand final. The winner of this match will have to face Peony in the grand final coming right up after. And Faramir's on his last deck. He's on the Warrior. Hosty's on the currently undefeated Paladin. And man, this Paladin has been really, really dominant. I don't have much hope for the Warrior deck, I'll be honest. Like, all these Divine Shields are so annoying. For one, you'd have to be running Owls in the Warrior, I think, even to stand a chance.
I agree. I think Divine Shields is very problematic. Even cards that do the 1 damage, like Cruel Taskmaster, makes it even more hard to deal with because you take additional damage. So this can be very bad for Faramir. But at the same time, Hosty was the one who beat the Paladin with his Warrior, and it all has to do with the opening hands.
I just feel the Paladins weren't the same. Like, he wasn't running that much Divine Shield, and Hosty had like a ridiculous opening hand. So like both those things had to line up.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that too.
Got the Owl. Owl's gonna do some work here, I think. You don't want to play it, but you're going to. Well, okay, maybe not. Huh.
Okay, well,
is that because of, like, you're afraid of Muster for Battle, you think?
Yeah. I think, yeah, somewhere in the back of your mind, you're just worried about more stuff. Like, it's still just a 2/2 with Divine Shield. I mean, it doesn't... I guess it's just too early to dedicate resources like that.
Well, it's gonna be very valuable 2/2. Gets to kill something.
Well, it's a 2/2 that sticks around.
I've tried playing Paladin, and one thing I don't like is when I dropped both my quartermasters. That's why I subbed it out. I'm curious if it's going to work here, because I mean I didn't run Neutrons, that kind of stuff. Perhaps
I think it's fine.
It is the game changer.
I mean, even if you just summon it against one minion, it still puts a pretty decent amount of stats, right? 4/7 for 5 mana. So, I mean, it doesn't feel great for sure, but it's like there's definitely worse value minions out there that way you can get. So sometimes the tempo is just too good.
There's nothing? Okay. I guess nothing was the other play. It was nothing or equality.
Right. I guess he does have a turn because he has Divine Shield on the Noyotron, so he can afford to take his time. He can also get another additional minion for a Quartermaster, which is looking a lot better now, right? The Quartermaster with 2 minions out.
I think just because you have 2 of them, you really should play it here. The
Now
only
it becomes a
alternative would
6/9.
be the equality, but you just lose so much with equality from your own board.
How important is a card like Equality in this match specifically from the Paladin side?
It's pretty important. I mean, you don't run that much late game, certainly not as much as the Warrior, so you got to hit with it. But I think Quartermaster is the play. Like, you can clear the board with Quartermaster, you don't even lose that much. Yeah. And like, you have another Quartermaster next turn, so the Recruit that survives plus the new one, you can even do that next turn for 7. Yep, decent cleanup there. We might even see some weak removal coming out, but I think Sylvanas is... Oh! Yeah, I still like this Sylvanas. There it is.
Alright,
you can sack your entire board into Sylvanas if you really want.
I mean, you also have a higher chance of giving a minion that you can deal with anyways. Right? Yeah, I mean, most likely he'll steal a minion that can easily get dealt with, as long as it doesn't take Quartermaster. Assuming he just, like, straight up brawls, but there's still a few turns before that happens.
Okay. Now, is the equality good enough? No, it's not.
So, second Sylvanas. I'm always so wary about this. The opponent has shield block, shield slam. Actually, you don't even really need shield block at this point.
Oh, you have execute too! That one's played out, damn.
Still funny. Maybe you don't necessarily even need shield block. If you just attack the 1/1 and shield slam, his Sylvanas just armor up, he would have taken it.
Well, that silence might be very costly with Tyrion in hand. That might be the part we didn't really consider. It's like the Sylvanas isn't really the best play there.
Oh,
so
you're right.
Bait out the silence, so you can follow up with Tyrion. That does change quite a lot.
No, that's a really good point. Because now, how do you deal with Tyrion efficiently? You have to toss in a bunch of minions. So you still have Sylvanas, but
yeah.
I'm assuming that this is going to be somehow dealt with.
Nope. What?
What?
What? What happened?
You just gave him Tyrion.
It had to be a better play than giving the Warrior the best card in your deck.
Yeah. Like, anything could have been better.
Or nothing. Just not playing anything could have been better. Why? Wait, why is Faramir trying to knock off the bubble?
There has to be some next level things coming on here. I don't understand what's going on.
Right now you can Harrison the weapon. Maybe it's like a bluff. Maybe right now we're bluffing for quality consecrate.
You're
or
right.
Something.
The Harrison, pretty big actually. Like one thing that you do end up struggling with is card count in this matchup. Oh, that was very sharp by Faramir, and he gets to keep Sylvanas too. Actually, I really like that the more I think about it. My boy Faramir. Well, Hosty also does pick up a way for him to deal with Sylvanas finally, but he's still looking for a way to combo off that equality.
Yeah, I mean, dealing with Sylvanas playing an owl is not really doing that. I mean, just I don't know if you. I guess you have to cut the pyros if you're playing all this Blood Knight stuff. That does make your equality a lot less consistent. Muster for battle. Man, that's Sylvanas just ruining the Paladin right now.
Yeah, that's true. Although I guess Muster for battle is okay though, because he's still just taking one. Well, I guess the Death Spite is out active too. It's really problematic.
Well, if you do that, you would do the Muster for battle thing to counter the Death Spite.
This is a pretty tough turn.
Yeah, it is.
You're also in danger of dying because he has Death Spite active. He's at pretty full mana.
A lot of creatures on the board.
A lot of minions on the board.
I wonder.
And you have to be defensive, but...
I mean, the sickest play would be equality and then like an ooze.
Oh man, you're right. That is so crazy.
My shield for Arga.
He has to taunt up here. There's just no way. Well, gonna come down to how he's able to efficiently deal with it, or does he have lethal? I think he might.
With the Whirlwind, Ragnaros, and Execute, there has to be a lethal in there.
Yeah, I think if he just attacks with Sylvanas and Harrison and the weapon, he kills him. So he just has to Whirlwind, go past go past the 2/2s, right? Just attack with his 1 health minions and then. Oh, okay, this is still lethal too. It's like, oh, that's a fancier lethal.
Good enough.
Yep.
Clear the board, finish the game at 30 effective health. That's how you do it, man.
Style points.
Wow. I didn't expect the board to take that game, but yeah. I mean, really, it was all Sylvanas. Like, Hosty had no answer.
Yeah.
Behind on the board is a Paladin, and equality just didn't work when Sylvanas is behind a Sledge Belcher.
Yeah. You also made a good observation about Double Quartermaster. How the second one was pretty useless for a long time. So
even the first one wasn't great.
True that. It was pretty ineffective overall. But once again, we're going to go to Game 5 to determine who's going to the finals to play Peony for $1,250 US, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, the conclusion to our second semifinal.
Guys, we're back. The final match of the last semifinal here. Here's the cards 4 is about to go. I believe Hosty has his Druid left, so it is going to be a Druid versus Warrior. Faramir is running a very traditional Warrior deck. Hosty, we don't know what kind of Druid he has. We haven't seen the Druid out in this tournament yet, so it could be anything, but it probably is exactly what you think it is. So should favor the Druid
what if it's
quite considerably.
Hobgoblin Druid? You never know.
Hobgoblin Druid. Oh man, that sounds pretty interesting.
I've played against it a few times on ladder, and you laugh, but you know when they have Innervate Hobgoblin followed by Wisp, and then top deck Haunted Creeper. I mean, it's pretty nasty. It's actually happened, man.
I've seen Hobgoblin and Constructed, and I just killed it because you know, I was a little bit scared, but it was easy to kill, and there was nothing to be afraid of. So I don't know.
Yeah, it really isn't that scary. It's just purely a gimmick deck. That's the only other like completely new thing of Druid that I haven't seen before, other than just Ramp Druid or like super aggro Druid with Undertaker. I've seen Death Rattle Druid. Just feels like strictly inferior to a lot of the other Undertaker decks. But I mean, I guess you can still Savage Roar. I assume you're going to play a mid-range one.
Great opener from the Warrior. It looks like this is going to be a pretty even match. Whoa, Tinkertown something? I don't know. That card. That card means there's more mechs than just the Piloted Shredder, doesn't it?
Yes. Could have Mech Warper, as well as a couple of really small minions.
Okay,
Noyotron. Sure.
The Shredder's going to die to the Axe, and there's very few things that actually challenges the Armor Smith by itself, so I'd imagine the Armor Smith might actually get a kill off here. Yep, there he goes. Man, things are going immediately well for the Warrior. And I don't know, with all these small creatures, if this type of Druid deck is actually favored in this matchup. It feels like the reason that the other Druid deck is favored is because of those early threats. They just hit for so much, and these Spectral Knights are so hard to deal with. When you run mechs, you have to cut a lot of those cards. Like, I think it's very unlikely that we're going to see Spectral Knight in this Druid deck, for instance.
Yeah. But I wonder what he's made replacements for those mid-range minions. Or did he? Did he just draw, like is Ancient of Lore the top end? I have to imagine he also has Sneasel Shredder in here, too. That's like another deck, another card that I know a lot of Druid players were experimenting with because he was so sticky.
I was not too happy with that card.
Yeah? Disappointing?
Yeah. It felt like at that stage of the game, like you need something more than a minion that when it dies, it does something.
Well, yeah, when it dies, it summons a legendary minion.
Yeah, but it's gonna take like 2 turns for it to die, so it's like at turn 8, do nothing immediately. 2 turns later, get something that might be good.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. Like just Ragnaros seems more threatening.
You gotta see it as like an 8-mana Nerubian egg that pops out Ragnaros.
Oh.
That's what you have. That's how you have to view it. It's anti-AoE.
The opponent has 8 turns to draw silence.
Yeah. It's anti-brawl mechanisms or anti-twisting nether.
Pretty funny.
Well,
Hosty's just really trying to deny draws.
Yeah. I wonder how much it's gonna work out for him though. Faramir has pretty good things lined up here. Death Spite challenges anything that comes out, and it'll line up a draw on his Acolyte.
Well, you can deny the draw with a swipe, but I think that's a little excessive.
True.
Apparently not. Apparently that's what you play. That's why we're here casting. Yep.
I suppose so.
That was an obvious swipe. Super obvious. Oh, it does deny 1 card.
Yeah, but Warrior takes initiative on the board against Druid. And like, I totally get why you want to try out mechs. And this is exactly a problem with like why players are scared to bring a lot of like new decks to the table, because I'm not exactly sure if this entire Druid mech deck is fleshed out yet. It doesn't seem to play very well and intuitively, at least at the moment. Oh, oh,
that's a pretty nasty hit there. That's a 1 out of 8, right? You have to top end it. You have to hit that one.
50-50, and then it has to end. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 1 to 4, it's 4 options.
Well, if Hosty doesn't stabilize some of this damage, he might be dead. Okay, well, he does end up swiping. Gosh, this just feels so bad. More damage right back onto you.
I mean, the Warrior's hand is just getting better and better, and he's not even close to giving up board control right now. I actually just played like a Tree of Life Druid in my stream today, and I just every match I lost to Ragnaros. It's just so hard to deal with big minions, and the Warriors got too many of those for any Druid deck to handle right now. It's the same problem.
Yeah,
and when you play mechs, when you give up your double combo, you have to play this type of game, like your creatures for my creatures, and the Druid just loses against the heavier control decks, which is exactly what he's up against right now.
Well, how do you deal with this then?
I think I like Alistraza on his face. Oh no, you wouldn't give up such a dominant game to lose the combo, would you?
No. Assuming he is running combo, but
yeah,
that's a good assumption. You have Cruel Taskmaster.
Yeah, you have the Cruel Task combo, so you have 12 next turn.
Just push for damage. Put him within, like, striking distance. And barring a miraculous set of cards, pretty sure Faramir is going to lock this game away and punch his ticket to the Grand Finals.
Alright, I'll say it, you're right.
Yeah. Well, Faramir just wanted to give Hosty a chance.
I see. It's for the show, right?
It is. You have to make it closer and dramatic. But I mean, it's also like cool to see Hosty trying new decks too. Yeah, his Druid deck maybe needs a little bit fine tuning, and I'm sure Team Archon and a few other guys can figure out how to make it optimal. But for now, the day belongs to Faramir, as he is going to be the second finalist to face off against Peony to be called the Heroes
Underdog versus Underdog. Man, the calls are real. Oh, got it all the way. We're gonna see that match in a few minutes' time. I am pretty excited. I mean, I didn't think either of these players would make it here, and I mean, they got some pretty cool decks. They're playing pretty well. Isn't much of a surprise on that end, but you know, people when they watch these kind of things, they expect people to win these things, people that they know. So I don't know. Fun to see something different happen. Now,
all right,
the real question is, like, you're 100% of the predictions so far. You're not going to get away without making a prediction on the grand final here. Is it your boy Faramir, or is it Peony that's going to take it here?
Well, Crip, I will tell you right after this break. So stay tuned when we come back. The grand finals of Heroes of Cards 4.
That's
already has a
me.
prediction who's going to win.